Welcome to the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. I'm Peanut Tillman, and as always, I got my guy Roman Deacon. That's the name for you, Roman Deacon Harper.
I appreciate that, Peanut. I don't know if it's a compliment or a scary start to the morning, but
not a compliment.
Our guest today has already told us that we kind of look alike, and I don't know about it. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I was like, I think we've been hanging out a lot together. That's what it is.
This is my older brother, Darren.
well, it's a great morning. It's a great start. All right, I want to come out first of all because we're going to jump right in. Our guest today is, I don't want to hold him up too much, and he's fired up. He's going to be great laughs and already giving us great personality and conversation this morning. So before we do that, I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in constantly. Give us a rating, a review, and also make sure you hit that follow button and tell a friend to tell a friend. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts, make sure you tune in to us and give us a review. So thank you for that. And Peanut, will you give us the honors of who we got this morning?
We are blessed with a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest running backs of all time, Mr. Tony Dorsett. Welcome to the pod.
It's good to be here, John.
So I think you want to address that.
I do. I didn't want to bring this up earlier, but we got to address the elephant in the room. All right, so Mr. Tony, so I've grown up knowing you so much and revered you in high regards because my mom, my mom and dad been married 40-some years, raised me, love my mom to death. But she has always told me since I was a little kid, and I hope I embarrass you right here, is two guys she would leave my dad for. Number one, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And number two, Tony Dorsett. So now, getting to meet you finally, it is an honor. You are the man.
Now, y'all kind of look like y'all kind of looking like, look, y'all got the same salt and pepper hair.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You just ain't got the beard.
I just ain't got the beard. Yeah.
What's up, Dad?
I'm not going to call you Dad today, but it is an awesome thing. It is awesome to finally put that out here. Just say I got to meet you. So I'm going to tell my mom later.
Oh, my God.
And she'll be like, did you take a picture to get something? I'm like, I don't know, Mom, but it's good. It's great. It's great to meet you. Great to meet you.
So you're a Hall of Famer, and you've been retired for a while. And this podcast is really about former players, kind of their second acts and kind of what they're doing right now. So you've been retired for a minute. Can I ask, what have you been up to lately, kind of since the retirement?
Taking care of my grandchildren. Man.
Okay.
I'm doing my little boys. I got my son has a little boy, and my daughter has a little boy.
Okay.
Okay, and one of them, Hawk. My nickname is Hawk.
Okay.
And my son named his boy Hawky.
Oh.
He named it. And so I go with him, and he loves sports, and I try to keep him encouraged and doing all those things. And then my daughter has a little Drew. Drew is my middle name.
Oh.
And so little Drew, little baby Drew, Drew's baby. He's 1 year old, but he is, man. I have so much joy when those boys come around me, man. I feel like a little kid, and I just go out and play with them, have a good time.
But that's got to make you feel good though, like that your kids they took your name and they named their kids after you, like your legacy kind of still carries on.
Oh, man, it's a good feeling, and it's like, when my son decided to do this, name is Hawky, and I'm like, what you doing, man? You come on, man. But yeah, man, and then little Hawky, man, he's just a wonderful kid. I mean, he's good with school and all this stuff. And my other grandson, I mean, Drew, I call him Drew baby, Drew, and he just like, pop. He just love me, man. I just love it. I just love with my grandchildren.
I think there's no greater love than a grandparent with a grandchild. Yeah. And I see that with my parents. My parents are watching my kids as I'm here right now with my wife. And it's really funny because my dad was so hard on me. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I see him rolling on the ground with my kids. I'm like, you never rolled on the ground with me. Never. Yeah. Not one time. I see my mom throw a football with my daughter. And I was like, I've known you my whole life. You've never thrown me a pass. Like, never one time. Yeah, and you do these things for grandkids.
Oh, yeah, man. They're missing you.
Right.
They're missing you. They didn't get a chance to do it with you, but now they can do it with their grandchildren. So they want to make sure they get that part, that end, before things change for them. But so it's a great thing, man. I tell you. But the one good thing about it all, we can send them home.
That's what my dad. That's what my dad said. So I don't know if you watched the honor show yesterday. They just inducted the newest members of the NFL Hall of Fame. What did you think about the class? They inducted Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware,
Darrell
Revis, Joe
Rondé
Barber, Joe Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a good class of players that done well for themselves in the years that they've played. I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of the guys because when I moved away from football, I kind of like moved away, but I still love the game. I love watching guys play. I love it.
Now, do you go to the ceremony that they have in Canton every year, or so often?
Oh yeah, I go every year.
You get a chance to get back.
I love putting on that yellow jacket.
That was gonna be the question. So, how often do you wear your gold jacket? Like, do you ever just catch yourself in the morning, get me some coffee, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just put on this thing and just kind of sit here and watch some TV or something? You have to though.
I
love it.
But I don't wear it out, man.
I do wear it out. Inside the household.
Oh yeah, that's it, man.
That is awesome.
That yellow jacket, man, doesn't go very well with the clothes.
Man, have you ever spilled anything on the coat?
Yeah.
How many coats do you get?
They'll give you one. If you
That's a great question.
if you only get one, you get the one coat, but they will duplicate one for you if something happens to the one that you have.
Gotcha.
All right, so give me a story of what happened. So the first time you messed up your jacket probably scared you, or the first time you tried to stain on it or something.
Oh, I got real mad. I was it was one of those things I want to fight. What are you doing, man? Spill some stuff on my jacket, and because I'm like, man, I never dreamed. I didn't even know about the Hall of Fame when I was a little kid growing up, man. I was like, God, man, I'm like, what? You know, messed up my jacket, man. You better go home, boy. Yeah, man, but it's a great group of guys to be involved with.
So one group of guys, one guy in particular who, as I've read more about you, you have this special relationship with Earl Campbell. And I know that's you guys, and he claims you as one of his heroes, his football hero specifically. Could you maybe give us a little bit of insight on how that relationship formed? Because it's not like nowadays where guys have social media, so they're friends and they get recruited all together. How did that relationship form? And then how did that relationship grow from there?
Well, the thing about it is, I've always wanted to be a big back. I wanted to be a big back, man. Yeah. And when Earl came, because obviously we go back before then, Jim. I wasn't aware of all of that kind of stuff. Didn't see Jim, but I seen Earl, man. I used to watch him play against the Steelers, and I grew up in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. And
the Steel Curtain, man, was just unbelievable. And Earl was just like, I was like, man, how's Earl running through these guys like this? Man, how is he doing this? And I used to tell Earl, I used to ask him, Earl, and why don't you let one guy tackle you sometime, Earl? I said, man, how long you think this gonna last, man? I said, man, you look like King Kong out there just throwing guys off you and everything. But man, he's a great guy, man.
So let's talk about, you grew up in the Steel Curtain era, right? You're from Pennsylvania, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Aliquippa?
That's it. The Quip, baby.
The Quip, okay. The Quip. So it ain't but like 8,000 people. It's a super, if that, right?
Yeah.
Super small town.
Yeah.
Y'all got some dogs that come out of Aliquippa.
Yeah.
So
some good players.
Yourself, your nephew that I didn't know, Ty Law, and then you got Darrell Revis.
Yeah.
All in the Hall of Fame.
You got Mike Dicker.
Mike Dicker's from Aliquippa? Oh snap.
We got four.
Y'all got four. Y'all got 4 Hall of Famers in a town of like 8,000. If that.
Yeah. Small. You drive right through it like through. You go.
What is that?
You got one red light.
Oh my.
How much pride do you guys take in that? Knowing that you guys have 4 gold jackets. When I'm hometown, we only have that many people that made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even close. Yeah. How much pride do you take in that, knowing that your hometown has produced 4 gold jackets?
Well, it's the whole county. I like to say it, but
yeah.
We played down in what's the county? What Beaver County? And You know, we had a lot of great athletes, not just in football, but basketball, baseball, wrestling, all of it, you know. And we took a lot of pride from the fact of saying, yeah, you know, everybody's talking about this is what football country, this is that. And when you come to Maricopa, man, it's a steel mill.
Yeah.
Oh, you see steel mill, man. You see steel, you know, it's nothing like that. They're like, I mean, how did these guys come out? How did you bring all this many football players out here? But it's not, you don't have a whole lot of football fields, you don't have a whole lot of students and stuff going into school, but you know, it was just guys that took a lot of pride in themselves. And we used to always say, man, you know, we can stand up against anybody.
Well, yeah.
Clearly.
4 Hall of Famers. Yeah, that's dope.
Nobody else can say that. So I want to know this one more thing too. Is I know the game has changed.
Yeah.
Football is not what it was when you were playing, nor was it when we were playing not too long ago. And the product of football now, do you still enjoy watching? What is your love factor on a scale or so, whatever that is, of football?
I'm a football guy, man. I still love the game, but you know, it's kind of been pampered a little bit. It seems like, man, you know, it's like, man, back in the day, I was like, man, the way the boys was hitting people, and doing the things that they do. I mean, but there's a lot of talent out there, but they just, and it probably made it a little more safe for the guys, you know, because man, back, boy, they would hit you and they would keep on hitting.
You were talking about your grandson being into I want him to tell us that story too. You were talking about your grandson loving sports. And 7-on-7 has been a really big push to like kind of take the ease off of the contact with sports and football. Would you encourage your grandson to go to play football or want to do 7-on-7 instead of playing football with pads early, maybe? I have this debate all the time with my own self.
You know, I do and I don't. You know, I want them to play the game that we played.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the way I can only visualize football being played. Football is physical. Football is aggressive. You know, and I want to see that. I don't want to take that away from it. You know, I think they've done a good job with the referee stuff, but they took a lot of some of the dirtiness out of it, if you want to say.
Make it safer.
Yeah, and it made it safer. And I think the game is contact, man. You want to play, you want football, you gotta take a little contact.
You better.
Yeah. So contact before I was trying to tell you to save it because I want to get for the listeners and you. Great storyteller. So Rome, we saw you with Earl Campbell yesterday. You were making your way through Radio Row. Yeah. And Rome, I looked over and I was like, oh yes, I've seen you before. I know your size, your frame.
Look, guy.
I did not know that. I was like, man, Tony Dorsett, not as big as I thought. I thought it was so much bigger than that.
Everybody, even when I was playing, when they would see me in the off season, they're like, man. They didn't know I was as small as I was. Yeah. But what I did was, I said I had extra large shoulder pads, I had girdle pads, I had rib pads, I had large thigh pads, I had foam under my knee pads. My fullback Ron Springs, we get ready to play, he said, man, you the ugliest dressed guy. And I said, man, guess what? I don't give a damn. I said, I got 11 angry men over there trying to take me out of this, but I said, I got to pad up, bro.
Man, do you feel like did you think it slowed you down any? Having all that extra? Okay.
Of course not.
When you're scared, when you're running scared, they ain't much gonna slow you down.
So talking about not slowing you down, number one, what you just said, I mean, it's amazing that a fullback tells a running back, bro, you dressed ugly. Like, that's,
I got that.
Everybody just sit on that for a second.
I got that in Carolina. Y'all just said it about me. Y'all said my style was whack.
It was terrible. You had a big bionic elbow braids. Pino was a steak.
Hey, guess what? I didn't give a damn.
I
didn't give a damn. And like, I know Peanut asked you, it didn't slow you down. Of course not. Tell me about this. How does it feel, your record, 99-yard run?
Ooh.
It can never be broken. It can only be tied, which it has been tied before. And I watched your highlight and I watched the run. Number one, is that your favorite run of all time? And how much credit do you give your wide receiver? Was that Drew Pearson?
Drew Pearson.
For getting that block down there and kind of set you free? Or did you, I ain't really need him? Because the DB really didn't touch you.
Right. But I used to tell my wide receivers, I said, look, you don't have to knock him down. get in the way, and I'll do the rest.
Yeah.
I'll make him get where I want him to be, and you can get in his way, and then it's over. You know, it's good. But Drew, every long run that I have, Drew Pearson was part of it. He was always one of the guys that's just getting in the way. I said, just get in the way, bro. I'm going from there.
And that play, it was just a simple dive play. You don't have to tell about the specifics of the play, but it wasn't a fancy play call.
Nah. And we only had 10 men on the field.
I didn't know that either.
We only had 10 men on the field.
That's something you don't know.
If we had 11 men on the field, it would have been our fullback, Ron Springs, running the play. And I used to always tell Ron, you think you can win 99 yards, man? Come on, man. They would have caught you, man. You know you could win 99.
So he tried to say
he knew he wasn't in the, I mean, obviously you knew he wasn't there, right? So y'all didn't want to call like a timeout?
What happened was, he was the one that muffed the kickoff.
Right.
Like the 1 inch yard line, whatever. And so he ran off the field, and then when he heard the play, I heard the play being called. So we could run that with single back formation or our I formation.
Right.
So Ron thought he heard single back formation, which was Jayhawk. That's the formation we call it. And so he stayed on the sideline, and all the guys were telling him, they would say, man, get out there, you gotta run the play, run the play. And Ron's response to all that was like, man, you gotta be crazy. He said, if I run out on that field and we get a penalty on the 1 inch yard line, he said, Tom, now you go cut me right on the spot. He said, no, he said, he had to, and I didn't know this at that time. I thought you had to have your 11 men on the field. So he had the wherewithal to understand that, hey, we can run a play with 10 people. He said, it doesn't matter. And I was like, okay, man, I'm glad you did.
I thought you would have got a flag for only having 10. I didn't know that.
No, you can play with 10. You just can't play with 12. That's the rule. You can play with 10.
I don't think
Now, one thing I think is a little bit special, what I know is special, and I didn't know was such a stat, and that's your Heisman to Hall community, or right where it's on your shirt right now, H to H.
Yes.
And could you tell me what's been the most important thing for you to make sure you stick around the game? You're around it, and you also have this amongst all these legends, a small group of legends inside of all these greats. With these the guys that have won a Heisman and are in the Hall of Fame. It's 10 of you guys total throughout all of the football greats. Yeah. It is amazing to hear that. How does that make you feel? Could you just break all this down? You talked about earlier, like
that's an extra level of elite.
You keep saying, saying the word. It makes you feel great. I'm like, man, like all these great players, Gail Sanders, Jim Brown, you can go on and on and on and on about all these great players, man. Quarterbacks, running backs, most running backs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I was like, wow, that's all? I said, all these great players play, I mean, sweetness, Walter Payton, come on.
Didn't get a Heisman.
I'm like, yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm saying, that right there, I was like, man, God almighty. I said, when you look at it, when you think about it, you say, dang. You know, it's did something kind of special.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing a Perfect 10 documentary, and it's through the NFL Films production about you 10 guys who have won the Heisman and also are in the Hall of Fame now. It airs throughout the month of February on FS1. We want to make sure everybody tunes in for that. Support these great gentlemen who have been stewards of the game that we've all grown up watching and just don't know how legendary they are until they get into this special community that you guys are in.
You know, this it caught me. It's kind of shocked me.
Right.
And they said, you know, there's only 10 guys that have done this. I'm like, all these great guys, man. Gail Sayers, OJ. Well, OJ, Juice would have been there.
Yeah.
Problems here. It was like, God almighty, man. There was a lot of run. There was a lot of football players that have come through. You know, and it's like, wow. You know, it's like it made me feel a little good because everybody when I was playing, you know, they were like, man, you so small, man. How you do this? I said, look, I'm a thin piece of leather well put together. Don't you worry about it. You just try to tackle me, all right?
All right, okay.
Thin piece of leather Say that again. Still a piece of leather.
Thin piece of leather, well put together.
Well put together.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. That's
You know he said that to a lot of guys back then.
yeah.
You know he said that.
I said, okay. I'll see you next time. We'll see what you're gonna do.
Duke Slater, first African American named to the College Football Hall of Fame. As we continue to celebrate Black History Month across the league, we share the accomplishments of the past and present. Duke Slater overcame racial bias to earn selections to both the college and Pro Football Halls of Fame. The tackle from Iowa was a 3-time All Big Ten selection, an All-American, and the first African American named to the College Football Hall of Fame. In the pro ranks, Slater was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. Only the era's prevailing discrimination kept him from being named to the NFL's All-Decade team of the 1920s. However, he would earn his due in 2020 when he was named to the centennial class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
One of the questions we like to ask a lot of the guests that come on the show is if there was a Mount Rushmore of people that have had influence or mentor or just some positive output on your life, who would those people be? We've done ours a few times. If you had to pick your Mount Rushmore of 4 people, who would those 4 people be?
My 4 older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
There was Melvin,
Mm-hmm.
there was Ernest, there was Tyrone, who was the one that I was old enough at the time to see him play, and there was Keith. And the thing is, I always wanted to be like my brothers.
Yeah.
My brothers were exceptional athletes in high school. None of them went off to college, and that was one thing they all pitched in and said, "You're not gonna make this mistake. You're going to college."
Right.
You know, but they went into with gin and the steel mill up in the area, and I was like, man, wow. But I see my brothers, man. So the original TD, as I called him, Tyrone. I had never seen nobody run the ball like him, and I was just trying to be like my brothers.
Yeah.
They motivated me.
And that was the best example you had growing up. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I want to just be like them. And you don't know where that'll take you. It's amazing when you talk to people about setting goals, things like that. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly, man. I was like, going to college? I'm going to college? All these colleges are coming in recruiting me, and I'm like, wow, man. Oh, man, I'm like, I said, I got it. I got it. I guess I got what it takes to play at the higher level. And so, man, when I went to college, my brothers, my mom and dad, man, everybody was just, it was almost like a party.
That's a great feeling. That's got to be a great feeling. And are you the youngest of the 4
I'm
or 5?
the youngest of 5 boys.
Youngest. Ooh.
I'm the 6th of 7 children. I have a younger sister. The first one was
The girl.
and we had the 5 boys.
I don't know, y'all house was just a tornado. Just a bunch of Tasmanian devils, boy.
Bro, let me tell you, growing up in Mount Vernon Drive, which was projects, so we stayed pretty busy. And you talking about going down and playing as a youngster?
Yeah.
We used to break. We used to go up under the fence.
We used to get in there.
Yeah. It's okay, you ain't gonna get in trouble.
In the back of the swimming pool, and we played tackle football, and people and that's why they would say, man. And that's how they said, man, how you get so quick and how you do all this? And obviously I was gifted with that. I said, but man,
right.
when you play on concrete, and we used to play in the street to tackle football, and if you get hit, you fall on that curb a couple times, you don't want to hit that curve.
You learn real quick.
You learn how to
You learn real quick with shifty.
Yeah. So that's what got me motivated.
How many times did you leave some skin on that concrete?
Ooh.
Bro, I don't know how much, but I left plenty of it. In my younger years, But once I got a little older, bro, once you fall on that curve and you get the ribs, you figure out a way. You figure something out.
Oh man, that's similar story. We played in Chicago, but we used to play in the street and we had cars. So you throwing, you play on a one-way street down Paxton, and you just try not to run into the car, but it didn't end so well for us.
Well, Tony, this is my last question for you, man. Could you fill in the blank for me? We like to ask all of our guests this as well. My name is Tony Dorsett, and my life right now is
wonderful. I, with my family, my wife, my daughters, my son, my grandsons, that's what I'm all about. And I love my family. And being brought up with 4 older brothers, and older sister, there were 7 of us, and just family. And that was the thing that motivated me, excuse me, as a kid. When I was playing ball, I would always look up. The first thing I would do was look up in the stands and see where my mom and dad were sitting.
Yeah.
And I would always wave to them, and I would say, and my older brothers were checking me out, and it was like, oh man, they would always critique me, but I wanted that kind of stuff, and I wanted to be with my family, kind of brought us all together and all that. So that was my whole deal and as a kid. But I never dreamed that I was going to. I don't know, guy, man. I went to college at 145 pounds. Never dreamed that I was going to be a running back in college,
right?
Or even anybody want to give me a scholarship,
right?
And so, man, I was blessed.
And what positions did you play? Did you always play running back, or was you like a receiver? Were you a DB?
Bro, I was a mean son, bro. I was a defender first.
There you go.
Listen back, bro. Let me tell you something. And I used to hit. Everybody tell me, oh, you Dorsett, you gonna be the worst Dorsett of them all. And that's angry. I just said, ooh, boy, I used to go out on that field angry. I'm like, let people know that. I'll show you what I can do.
He's like 140-pound Deacon Jones.
Bro, I used to lay some impacts. Boy, I was sticking.
So as a DB, I gotta have this question because I gotta know how you was hitting them back in the day. Were you the guy that, all right, I know they see me, I'm still gonna try and light them up, or I'm just gonna get them down, and then when they don't see me, that when I'm teeing off with you?
No, bro, no. They had to start. They had to change their offense and run to the other side.
No, they didn't want to see you at all.
Man. I was a monster back. I was a monster. I was well the strong side.
A monster back.
Monster man. I called him the monster. That's it. They called him the monster position. Man, I just go out there, man. Monster right. And boy, monster left, man. And they used to try to come at me until they found out, say, oh man, we got to run the other way. We can't get by this little dude. Because I had that little man syndrome, man. Everybody thought I was just so small. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I said, okay, I'll show you.
And for those that don't know monster back, I know what he's talking about. It's like a 46, so it's more like a strong safety or a rover back. But whenever the strong side is, you call it, and you go set the edge and you ready. Anything coming downhill.
Oh man!
I did not know we were gonna sit down and Tony said he gets the most fired up talking about. He has a 99-yard run.
Oh my God!
Got talk about it all the time. Monster back. Oh,
so up in his seat.
I want him to try me.
Come to the dark side, baby. You never should have left. So come to the dark side. Oh man! Well, look, Mr. Dorsett, it's been a treat and an honor to have you on our show, man. Thank you so much for blessing us, and I look forward to Hall to Heisman, FS1. Airing all through February. Y'all check it out.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And to all our listeners out there, Tony, man, appreciate it, man. I got to address the elephant in the room. You called me son at one point in time.
Y'all do it like
highlight all day.
I think you do.
And I just want to say thanks to all our listeners out there. Continue to give us a like, a review. Make sure you hit follow. And anywhere you listen to your podcast at, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.